My concern here is not just myself. If I and other whistleblowers are sentenced to long years in prison without so much as a chance to explain our motivations to a jury, it will have a deeply chilling effect on future whistleblowers working as I did to expose government abuse and overreach.
That, of course, is Edward Snowden, the NSA whistleblower. He is lobbying for a pardon. He's backed by the ACLU, Amnesty International, as well as Human Rights Watch. They've launched a Free Snowden campaign, but one group that's very firmly against it is the Washington Post, even though they published a lot of those leaks that Mr. Snowden, in fact, leaked to them. Now, it just published an op-ed called "No Pardon for Snowden," and I want to read a small portion of it. Snowden pilfered and leaked information about an overseas NSA internet monitoring program, PRISM, that was both clearly legal and not clearly threatening to privacy. Worse, far worse, he also leaked details of basically defensible international intelligence operations. So guys, you know, if anyone sees the Oliver Stone movie, Oliver Stone paints him as a modern-day patriot who spoke out about abuses of personal privacy. And I'm going to grant you both here off the bat that there was overreaches by the NSA in terms of domestic surveillance that we, the people, never knew about. In fact, after the revelations were made, there was changes in policy and amendments in effect to how far they could or couldn't go. I grant you all that. But he went far beyond that. And he also went to Russia, where basically he hid out instead of facing the music, unlike some of the folks who leaked stuff during Watergate, etc. Why do you think he deserves a pardon?
Well, first off, he's charged under the Espionage Act. And you say he went to Russia. That's the only place that would take him, you know, one of the only places. Under the Espionage Act, you only have to prove that he gave national security data to somebody who's not supposed to get it. So he's admitted to that. So the only question would be sentencing at that point. How many years, how many decades he'd spent in jail. If he actually tried to talk about his patriotic motives, that would all be deemed irrelevant and not admissible. The jury would never hear about that. So it's not reasonable that people say he would come here and stand trial. When you said at the beginning, you know, I'll give you that, those are pretty big gives. He gave information that actually a federal appeals court judge said that the NSA was acting illegally. Legislature revoked their right to do it, and there became a worldwide debate about information gathering. So those are pretty big kind of concessions to give, and no real way he could address this problem.
But if you limit it to just the NSA program, I don't think I would, because he swore to oaths. He clearly broke laws here that no one forced him to. As you guys said before, as it relates to police mail, there wasn't a draft that made him join here. He clearly signed up to all these things and then broke it. But to me, the far more egregious things, for example, he leaked information about spying as it relates for the intelligence that we used with our Scandinavian partners against Russia right now. He leaked information that we were spying on a spouse of one of bin Laden's aides that compromised, you know, in terms of investigation. He did a lot of things that had nothing to do with spying on the U.S. here. It seemed like he wanted to put a finger in somebody's eye and he didn't care how far he went.
That's true. I think that when you look at it, he can be both. He could have done, and he did, some things which were very patriotic, and then he did some things which clearly were not. And I think you have to look at the total picture here. So perhaps he should be charged for the espionage that relates to giving secrets to other countries. But in terms of what he did to notify the American people of what our government was doing illegally at the time, by the way, against the American people, he should not have been punished for. And that seemed to be the primary motivator. And even right now, if you look at Wells Fargo, the whistleblowers are being targeted now.
I'll let you have the last word on that one. You timed that one out perfectly, Mayo. Coming up next, delays in the Bronx court system so bad a group is suing, claiming that it is unconstitutional and a civil rights violation how bad this thing's got. We're going to talk about the human toll that's taken on people forced to sometimes wait years just to resolve their cases.